Hey everybody, and welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley412. Hope you're all having a fantastic week here. Nice 10-game slate on a Wednesday. I feel like Wednesdays we don't typically get large slates. Typically Wednesdays are split between like a 6-game early slate and a 6-game late slate, so it's kind of nice to get this kind of one. So pay attention to the weather in Coors. It does look like there's going to be like a 50% chance of rain as of this recording, which is the night before actually. But yeah, so if things can change, just pay attention to all of that. Looking up at the pitchers, let's just kind of dive right into it. Corbin Burnes facing off against Baltimore. The big thing with Burnes you have to be paying attention to, or like hoping you avoid, is his walks. He's been allowing a lot of walks, or giving out a lot of walks. I don't know if the correct wordage is on that. But you can see here, 4 in his last start, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3 again. Like, it's kind of been like the whole season long where he's just got this really high walk rate, which is certainly limiting his ceiling and certainly limiting his floor. The strikeouts are still there. Baltimore as a team, they're pretty decent. But they've slowed down quite a bit here. He's not my favorite pitching option up at the top here, but I still think if you want to go with him, totally fine and understandable. Logan Webb, he is the pitcher in Coors. Pay attention to the weather again with the rain. If it looks like, they're good to go, there's not going to be a delay, things are, fine. I kind of almost like Webb in this position. 9.9K, he's been very great as of late. You can see he's allowing 2 or fewer earned runs in pretty much every start since, April 22nd. So nearly a month and a half. So he's in great form right now. I know it's Coors, but he allows a lot of ground balls. He's a heavy ground ball pitcher, so the ball's not going to be sailing through that thin air as much. He limits the walks. He's got that high K upside. You can see he had 11 strikeouts just 2 starts ago against Milwaukee. So I almost like him as like a really good GPP play and a nice GPP pivot up at the top here, just because he induces so many ground balls, has that upside, and maybe it's not the best hitting weather if it's going to be cool and damp and everything. Max Scherzer facing off against Atlanta. I'll just say it now. I have the sheet here pulled up. I'll get to it after I talked about Scherzer here. But Scherzer is actually my favorite top salary option. He's been doing phenomenal as of late in his past 4 starts. Only 3 earned runs allowed, only 4 walks to 28 strikeouts. So he's going 100 plus pitches. He's just doing great. The matchup, might think it's tough going up against Atlanta, but looking into the stats just before starting this video, it kind of shocked me. But Atlanta's like right in the middle in terms of offense against right-handed pitching. Right in the middle for like strikeout rate and WRC plus that like combines all those metrics and everything together. So I was kind of shocked to see that Atlanta against righties just kind of struggle quite a bit. So I mean, Scherzer, boom. Probably going to be my favorite play. I'm going to trust the numbers on this one and kind of put the blinders on the team name and everything. But Scherzer, 9.7K. It's still pretty much a discount for him, all things considered. Bassett, Morton, I think they're both fine in the matchups that they're in. I'm not super thrilled about them. I have them ranked down below. So Scherzer is actually my number 1. Burnes, Webb. I think Webb is probably my favorite GPP up in that top tier. And then Bassett and Morton. Going into the mid-tier, Gray, Bibby, and Lynn. Gray going up against St. Louis, but man, this guy has been on fire as of late. You can see 5 straight starts of 1 or 0 earned runs, limiting walks, high strikeout rate. It's phenomenal. I wish he would get to like that 100 pitch mark. He gets like the high 80s, low 90s. So essentially, he's almost losing an inning, but he's very efficient. And when he is pitching this well, he is going pretty deep into games. Now, he hasn't had the toughest of matchups going up against Seattle, who rank 3rd in the league in strikeout rate against right-handed bats. Oakland, we all know the woeful Oakland, and then Colorado and Baltimore. But still, he held Baltimore in check, got 30 DK points against them. It's more about like he has been lights out, doing well, and it's been for about a month now. So I do think that he's going to be my top option in the mid-tier. Lynn and Bibby, they're like back and forth. I would put Lynn over Bibby. I would put Bibby over Lynn. They're very interchangeable. The Yankees, last time I checked at the recording of this, they were getting no hit by Giolito. That was not expected. We'll say it that way. And then Bibby, but Lynn, he's a workhorse. We know he's going to go 100 plus pitches. So solid option there. The crazy thing about Lynn, I talk about like these boom bust pitchers. Like he is the quintessential boom bust pitcher. If you look at his game logs, like going up and down, he's got 6 starts with 20 or more DK points. And he's got 5 starts with 8 or fewer DK points. He's got nothing in the middle, nothing between 8 and 20 DK points. So he's either just like burning up your lineup, or he's doing very well and paying off his salary. It is a little bit higher than we have seen it for the season, but still, I think it should be a fine option. And then Bibby, he's just been doing pretty well overall. Flaherty, don't really have too much interest in him, especially going up against that Texas offense. Let's see where we at. Low Vasquez. Okay, so here we go. This is the super low pitcher that we were talking about. Vasquez for New York. Min price. Gotta love those min price pitchers who can go super deep into games. So he went 84 pitches in his last start against San Diego. Facing off against the White Sox. Not a really scary team that you have to be terrified about. Early, numbers, early projections, and like odds on this guy are he's gonna get around like 4 to 5 strikeouts, and go about 5 innings. Like 84 to 90 pitches. So all of that, combined, I think that it's a phenomenal play. It would not shock me if he's an extremely popular option as the salary relief guy down in the salary range. That's pretty much what I'm saying. After him, Bria, Kramer, and Blanco for Houston. 1 second here real quick. There we go. Baby monitor. So let's see, where were we at? Bria, Kramer, and Blanco. Bria, he's been doing pretty solid, all things considered. I mean, he's more of like a bullpen guy, or they used him out of the bullpen, but they've had him, do some of these starts so far this season, and honestly, he's fared really well in them. So 90 pitches, 64, 58. But yeah, expect more of this as they kind of work him more into the starter. But yeah, like I said, he's been doing fairly well, going deep into the games. He's limiting the walks. He's got the strikeout upside. Whatever he's doing, it's working. So I guess just keep doing what you're doing, Berea. So we have him there. Kramer. Kramer's been, pretty solid so far this season as well for Baltimore. But I think Blanco is probably the most intriguing one. 5.2K. I think this could be a really nice pivot off of Vasquez if you do want to go super cheap as your SP2. Facing off against Toronto, not really the offense you want to be seeing as a pitcher, just because Toronto has such a low strikeout rate and just such a solid offense overall. And, he did fine in his first start last time out against the Angels. 94 pitches. Like, it's really about opportunity when you get down to these salary tiers. Like, is this pitcher capable of going 5 innings, possibly being in line for the win, getting 90 plus pitches? He could do that. Might look like a nice start, 16 DK points, but you do have to have some concerns when he allows 10 base runners in just 5 innings pitched. So he's averaging like 2 earned runs against. But I do think he could be a very intriguing play. He has the strikeout upside. However, Toronto, very low strikeout team. So it is what it is. And yeah, but everybody else, fade, not really too much interest in. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Other than Syndergaard just allows a lot of stolen bases. So Cincinnati, take their stolen base guys against Syndergaard. So I think India leads the team for Cincinnati. But then you got Elia De La Cruz, who just got called up. That kid's going to be fun. He's going to be really fun to watch. He can steal bases. He's got the home run upside. He's the total baseball prospect package, essentially. So let's just dive into the bats. San Francisco, obviously, is going to be your top stack on the slate, going up against Seabold, worst pitcher on the entire slate. In Coors Field, again, pay attention to the weather. Guys you're going to be paying attention to first, if you're going to do a San Francisco stack, it's going to be Peterson, Yastrzemski, and Wade. You can even throw Seabold in there if you want to, or JD Davis, Estrada, Crawford. I mean, they all got solid numbers against right-handed pitching. San Francisco, just in general, does very well against right-handed pitching. You can see like very, very affordable. 4.2K, the most expensive guy there. So if you throw in Scherzer and you throw in a guy like Vasquez down cheap, 5K remaining for the rest of your bats. You don't even need to go down to Vasquez if you don't want to. Throw in a guy like John Gray, who's been who's been very like consistent over the past month or so. 3.7K for the remaining bats. Not an issue in terms of finding salary on this slate. But San Francisco, they're going to be your top option. In terms of bats on this slate. The Dodgers, I have them right behind. San Francisco, going up against Williamson. And it's just, these guys are good. Like, let's just get over it. These guys are scary, scary good. You got guys like Taylor, who's only 2.8K. He could be a very intriguing option. Always an intriguing option going up against left-handed pitching. Super affordable there. Martinez just continues to be absolutely lights out over the past couple weeks here. You can see just how many double-digit DK points he has. Like, he is crushing the ball right now. So he's going to have the nice platoon splits as well. Betts gets a little bit of a discount. He's been over 6K for a little bit here. But yeah, pretty much all these guys are going to be great in the small ballpark of Cincinnati against a weaker pitcher and a weaker bullpen. And it's kind of the same thing. Like if you throw in Scherzer and you throw in like another top guy like John Gray, 3.6K remaining for the rest of your bats if you do want to fade that Coors Field game because you might be a little bit worried about the rain, or if you just want to get a little bit different. But like Betts and Taylor, that's second, third base. You can even pair them with San Francisco. Let's see, and we'll put in the guys that we talked about. We talked about Yastrzemski, we talked about Pedersen, and we talked about Wade. Perfect, 3.5K. Awesome. This is not a core by any means. This is not necessarily what I'm going to be rolling out in my builds tomorrow, but that's just kind of like showing you it's entirely possible to put in some very nice lineups and not really have to sacrifice anywhere. It really is. Big thing we got to talk about, though, is De La Cruz for Cincinnati, who did get called up, 2.7K remaining. This is like the top prospect in all of baseball, not just on Cincinnati, in all of baseball. Going up against Syndergaard, he's got crazy, power bat on him. He had an exit velocity of 112 in his MLB debut here on Tuesday night. He's hit 115 almost on his exit velocity in the minor leagues, but he's also got the stolen base upside along with that. So he's got everything. He's the DFS dream. He's only 2.7K. Honestly, you might just want to put him in there as like a free square, essentially, and then just go about building the rest of your lineups. Because looking at shortstop, just kind of seeing if anybody truly sticks out, maybe Duran for Texas. He's back. He just got back off of the IL a couple of days ago. Duran could honestly be the GPP play, which, hey, great segue. I didn't even plan that. Texas, great GPP play, great pivots off of what could be the chalk. So there you go. So instead of everybody going De La Cruz, maybe you go Duran at shortstop. And then when everybody's stacking like the super powerful Dodgers and their expensive bats, instead you're over here, instead of throwing in Mookie Betts, you're throwing in Semien for pretty much the same salary price tag. And then you throw in guys like Garcia. Just kidding. Here we go. Seager. There we go. And then we put Duran in the outfield. Now we got it. All right, that's what I was trying to build when I was going through. But yeah, you can see like it takes over a lot of the same positions that the guys that you want to be targeting from the Dodgers and San Francisco want to be. So they're in a great spot going up against Flaherty. Don't really have too much interest in Flaherty at all. They're pretty expensive. All these things combined is just, I don't think that they're going to see a whole lot of ownership. So you do see I have three guys at 5.5K and above. So it's going to be a little bit trickier to jam in two of the top tier pitchers. 2.6K remaining if you go all the way up at the top. If you go with Vasquez, you're looking at 4K remaining for everything else. Like maybe you can even do a Texas and a Dodgers stack if you really wanted to. Cincinnati, already talked about them going up against Syndergaard. Just you're looking for stolen bases. Stolen bases, I think it's going to be India and De La Cruz. Like those are the two main guys that you want to be targeting there. there. Arizona going up against Patrick Corbin. They're super, super cheap. They're going to have a very high implied run total. Wouldn't shock me if their implied run total is over 5 on Wednesday. And you can see they only have two guys above 3.9K. So they're going to be extremely affordable. Maybe those are some other guys that you can throw in with some stolen base upside. Rivera, 3.1K. He could be higher up in the lineup going up against left-handed pitching. And yeah, so I mean, this is kind of like where the slate rolls initially. Obviously, things can change as we do a little bit more research and more things come out tomorrow, especially with the lineups. But it's kind of where things rank with me. I think you can jam in Scherzer and another top guy if you really wanted to. I think Vasquez is going to be pretty popular down below. Blanco could be a really intriguing like pivot off of Vasquez if you're really brave. Wow, could not think of it. If you're feeling brave, go with Blanco down there. But I don't mind any of these guys in the mid tier. Gray, Bibby, Lynn. You can convince me to play any of those guys. So yeah, so that's kind of it. Pay attention to the weather in Colorado. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be fantastic if we could hit that point. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, do all that. Good luck in your contests, and we will see you in the next one.